Hey, my name is Shane Long. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer here in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Over the last 10 years, I've photographed hundreds of weddings, senior portraits, family sessions, and I've had one lens that's been in my bag since the very beginning. It's not a flashy lens, but for me, it's been essential. This is the Canon 17-40 f4 lens, and I want to do a quick review today so you can decide if it's a lens that you need to add to your bag. Okay, now I want to show you some of the images that I've made with this lens and show you how I've made them. So the first use of this lens is I use it to show the context of the reception space. I'll shoot it usually at 17 millimeters, so it shows the whole space, and hand hold it. I try to hold it up higher so that I can see the tops of the tables when I'm doing these reception shots. I don't need a lot of these. I just need 1, 2, maybe 3 photos of the reception hall that will show me what the space looked like. Similar to that, I often will use it during the wedding ceremony to back up and be able to get a shot of the bride and groom with all of their guests in the shot. I'll often also use it during the recessionals or the processionals, so when the bride and groom are coming in or they're leaving, just to be able to get some of the people and their reactions and capture the emotion of what's going on. Not too often do I use it in the portrait section of the day, only if I have like a beautiful sunset or a reflection or something. Other than that, I don't use the 70-40 too much, just because if I get close to them, it's gonna distort their bodies and make their natural proportions look kind of off. But I do use it for like the group shots. In this shot, I mean, here I am at the edge of the sidewalk. I couldn't get back any farther, but this couple really wanted the shot with this Sioux City sign. So I couldn't go across the street in this case because there was cars parked right against the street, but I could back up, put the 17-40 on, and grab the shot. Similar here, there was a parking lot, there was cars, but I could put on the lens and back up just a little bit and then be able to get the whole context in. In the evening time when the sun is setting or however the beautiful context is going, then I'll use it. So this was at Hidden Meadow Barn in Wisconsin, and they've got this beautiful field, so I wanted to capture that. And similarly, the nighttime. So this was the reception venue here in Naples, Florida. This one here is this beautiful treehouse venue that's in Minnesota. Hope Glen Farm. They've got this treehouse that the bride and groom can stay in, so I did this night kind of context shot there. Another one in Naples with the boats. The 17 millimeters is just great to be able to capture the sky and the ground and everything. Here's a mansion venue in Minneapolis. I wanted to, again, capture the sky, but there's only so far I can back up, so putting on a 17 millimeter is super helpful. Probably how I use the lens the most on the wedding day, though, is for the dance photos. Because again, I can't back up really far. I can put on the 17-40, put it at 17 millimeters. I set the manual focus to about 3 feet so that it's not searching while I'm trying to flash. And then I can get right up in the action, throw the flash on, and capture all the fun of what's going on. If they have an epic wedding venue, here's their first dance, I kind of backlit them here with 2 flashes. If they've got just an epic venue, I want to capture at least 1 or 2 where it shows, hey, here's where we are. I mean, they book these amazing venues, so you just want to showcase that. And lastly, it can be great for taking selfies with the couples. It's wide enough that you can all get in very easily. So that's how I use the lens. This is the 17-40 on the R. We're going to shoot some 17 millimeter portraits here in this forest, and then do some comparison shots. Okay, now I want to walk you through some of the images we made in the forest. So here's the first image. It was shot at 17 millimeters at f4. You'll notice there is a bit of vignetting kind of on the screen. And when you get to the corners, it does get a little bit messy here. So there's some fringing. You'll also notice that there is some distortion, so the trees do look kind of bowed. The vignette you can fix really easily with Lightroom. Most people already know how to do that. The upright distortion, if we just hit vertical distortion, it's going to go ahead and kind of fix that for us here. Even if we just hit the auto button, it does a pretty good job. You just lose kind of the edges of the image. Here it is at f4. You'll see it's sharp enough, like you can certainly use this, but it's not razor sharp. When you stop down to f8, you'll see those trees really pop in some sharpness. When you get in the corners, it's still not going to be perfect into the corners, but that's what you get kind of with a wide angle this wide, and you know, as inexpensive as it is. Here we are zoomed into 40 millimeters now, and this is at f4, so you can kind of see how sharp it is there. Sharp enough. I often use it for if I'm doing the family portraits and then it's just a bride and her mom, I can quick jump in and get it at 40. But when you stop down to f8, it is significantly sharper. The last two I did here, this is me. I kind of just walked in front of the tripod to see how it would look. This is at 35, so I was going to compare it to a 35 millimeter lens. This is 35 at f4. I'm not sure if I nailed my focus. I think I'm pretty good because the tree next to me is about in sharp in focus. Maybe it's a slightly back focused. But then compared to the RF 35, you can see I am sharper in that version. Also stop down to f4 there. "17 millimeters with the electronic stabilization on enhanced. This is 17 millimeters with the electronic stabilization on. And this is 17 millimeters with no electronic stabilization on. All right, pro number one, it's inexpensive. This lens right now on Amazon sells for $650 new and like $430 used. You can't get an L series lens for that cheap. Pro number two, it's super lightweight. This is the Canon 35 f1.4, and this is the 17 to 40, and you can feel it in your hands. This lens is a lot lighter. I use it on wedding days when I'm doing the dance photos, for example, and I'm holding up my camera. And before I was getting a lot of wrist pain, but for this, no problem at all to hold it up for dance photos. Another pro is that it focuses super fast and accurately. This lens is great for context shots. I use it right when I show up. I'll shoot the entire venue and then I'll go around and shoot some of the rooms with this lens. One of the first cons is it's not razor sharp. Lenses like the Canon 35 1.4 Mark II, crazy sharp. This lens is certainly good enough, like you're not really going to notice it, and I don't think clients will too. It's just not crazy sharp. The second con is that it's only an f4 lens. So I wish it went down to 2.8, but honestly, 99% of the time I'm either using it for like a landscape context shot or I'm using it for a large group photo. And typically in those situations, I wouldn't want to be down to 2.8 anyways, because I kind of want everything in focus. Okay, to wrap it up here are my pros and cons. Pros, it is very lightweight, easy to handhold. It's super affordable compared to the other L series lenses. It's reliable. In all my years, it hasn't broke down once or had any fails. It focuses really fast, and it's fantastic for just getting the context shots to let people know kind of where you are. Cons, it's not super sharp. It's not going to be the sharpest lens in your bag, especially in the corners. It will be soft. And its lowest aperture is f4. But for me, this lens has been essential. I use it all the time at weddings just to quick get a context, show people where we are, and then move on to some of my more favorite lenses. That's the 17 to 40 f4 from Canon. If this review was helpful for you, hit that like and subscribe button so you can see more of our videos. We'll see you next time. And for anyone wondering what life is like in Minnesota in March, here it is. It is like 38 degrees out right now, and just beautiful.